Hello and welcome to Martin Lucas Investors channel. My name is Sensei Crypto and we have a very big jam-packed show for you guys today. Very much XRP focused. There is a lot of XRP news that I would like to get through. Thank you all for tuning in. We are going to be looking at the XRP charts, lots of news from Ripple, and going deeper into that. So many ETFs, and people are getting confused, and we're going to break down exactly what ETFs are coming out and what they mean. Supply shocks, XRP. I've got some data to show you on the supply shock side of things. XRP and Ethereum. There is some news I want to share with you that's going to excite a lot of people. We've always known XRP is better than Ethereum. Well, at least that's what I think. But now we have the data to back it up. Now we have, let's say the flipping might have already occurred. I'll show you that later in the show. I'll be showing you some AI price predictions, some big XRP movements as well. And then we'll end off with looking at some earnings because they're coming up later as well in the week. So a big week on the markets this week. Here is the XRP chart. Everyone's in. Please do hit that like button if you have just tuned in. If you're watching this later, there will be timestamps below for you to have a look at your favorite sections. You can see here we are going to start off with looking at the XRP chart, and then we're looking at the Ripple news, XRP ETFs, XRP supplies, XRP versus Ethereum price predictions, and big earnings. So a very big show here today. We've got 274 people watching already, so thank you for tuning in. Do hit that like button. As soon as we hit 100 likes, we will get deeper into the news. Thank you all for tuning in. Yes, I'm looking at the chat as well. Yes, I do think an XRP pump will be coming up shortly. Looking at the price here, just on the Bitstamp chart, this is not my normal chart, but you can see we've formed a solid base at $2. We've had this wick down below $2. That was a bullish wick down, in my opinion, because it got bought up very quickly. The liquidity came in, people bought that dip, institutions bought that dip, and we are ready to go on to our next move to the upside. Just looking at this chart here, you can see we had a sort of a triangle formation here from a bull trend upwards. We have now broken that massive supply line on the XRP chart, and you can see the trend is changing. The trend is changing, and we will then start heading up to $2.61, and then beyond that, really, there's not too much else. $3, $3.40, and then it's all-time highs. I'll go onto the chart that we all have seen before. Here it is, the buy zones that I bought, the areas I sold. Remember, before we get any further into the video, nothing I'm saying is financial advice. This is just my thoughts and opinions only, so please do not trade based on anything I'm saying. Making sure we are running okay. Yes. So you can see, let me zoom in for you so you can exactly see what we're looking at is these $2, this level that we were predicting a 50% correction, well, they're live the day before. $2 is going to break, it's going to come in, and these are the areas I was buying. Of course, I didn't know 100% we're going to come exactly to the zones. We did come to exactly these zones, and I was very happy buying at $1.71. I didn't catch the exact bottom, but my $1.71 buys, I'm very happy with. And what we're looking at again is breaking this $2.30. $2.30, in my opinion, is very, very big level. Then we'll have levels higher at $2.50. So the chart is looking bullish. The chart is looking ready. What we need now is the earnings this week. We'll look at them later. They need to go well. What else needs to happen is some more fundamental news, some more liquidity coming in, some more buyers coming in, and there is plenty of buyers coming in, not just through the crypto exchanges, but from the exchanges as well. So yes, that is the chart. Let me see if I've got anything else on the chart as well. We can zoom out as well, and I'll look at the Bitcoin chart as well, because we do tend to go up with Bitcoin as well. But in my opinion, the chart is looking good. I mean, $2 has held. We broke below $2. I said we were. That was a bullish wick to downside. We are now coming back up quite fast and aggressive, but not too aggressive. We've come down, tested $2 again, tested these lower levels. The supply lines are being broken out of, so I don't see any reason why and what would be holding XRP back. The only way XRP will go down now is if the broader markets do go down, and that's my opinion. It's not financial advice. I don't know that for sure, but my genuine thesis is if the stock market doesn't crash, if we don't have terrible tariff news, that seems to be winding up. If that doesn't continue, the chart is ready to go. The chart is ready to go to those predictions that we have put out before: $10, $5, $15, $20. I'll show you exactly where I'll be taking profits. I did make some buys down at $1.60 that I'm happy to sell around the all-time highs, $3.50. But the majority of my portfolio, I've already got a plan in place for where I'm going to sell my XRP. $4.70 is going to be my first level I'm going to sell, and that'll probably be about 20%. Then at $5.30, $6.37, $7.41, $8.50. And then we've got predictions that are a bit more to the higher end of things. I'll probably have already taken most of my profits by this point. $11, $13, $18, and possibly even $33. Remember, when I say I'm going to take my profits, I will take profits to realize some of those profits, but also to have more buying power for the next bear market to buy back lower, because I do see XRP going to $100. I do see a clear path to $100 for XRP. So these profits I'm taking, I will buy back. But if we do head up to these levels this year, next year, I do think this year is still possible to head up to $10, $8 at least. And I will be taking profits, waiting for the bear market, the crypto winter, to buy back lower, maybe at $1, maybe at $1, maybe at $2. We'll see where the base is. That's a problem for another day. But right now I'm getting accumulated. I'm getting ready to ride this to the upside. What we are looking at next, it will be, let me just see if everything's running smoothly. I do have a new start to the show, so I'm just monitoring a few things. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Ripple news. Let's highlight that for you. Let's have a quick look at your comments before we move on to the Ripple news. Make sure everyone is enjoying their time here. There will be big news coming up later in the show. There's two bits of story that I can't wait to share with you. The money's going to come to us. I would get out of regular stock market. This is a great reset. It's always good to have a diverse portfolio, in my opinion. I haven't taken any profits barely since 2020, only accumulated for 5 years. I hope it works out. I've been doing the same. I would say most of us have, says Logan. Let's see if we've got any more members' questions. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm all in on XRP. If you do want to become a member, there's the link to become a member, and there's the link for the store. Let's see if I've missed any other members' comments. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm all in on XRP. Okay, we're going to move on very shortly to the next piece of story. 340 people watching, only 15 likes. Let me refresh and make sure that's not the case, because that would be a bad job from everyone. 107 likes. Everyone hit the like button. We've got a jam-packed show for you. We've just got started. Charts are looking bullish. It's looking good for the week ahead. Let's move on to some better news, but please do take a second to hit that like button. It is free, and it will spread the word. Okay, let's move on to our next story. So onto the Ripple news. We're looking at the SEC news here. This is not recent news, but it's getting more important, this news. The last update we had in the SEC case, the main one, was the 60-day pause from the SEC. That was early in April, so we are nearly a month into that. They do have another 30 days to sort of wrap up the case. We know they've basically dropped their appeal. We know that the fine has gone down. We know that Ripple's looking at this very bullishly. Brad was very happy with the outcome of that. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. They then, after that, made acquisitions. So they are very comfortable with the position of the SEC. But this will be another piece of good news once it completely comes to an end, because that SEC case is still going on. They haven't fully wrapped it up, but the appeal was dropped, and they are working out the details. It's been put on a pause for 60 days. So The appellate court has granted a joint request from Ripple Labs and the Security and Exchange Commission to pause an appeal in the 2020 SEC case against Ripple amid settlement negotiations. So they are currently in the negotiation stage, and we are looking to get word from the final negotiations any day now, possibly another 30 days. An April 16th filing in the US Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, the court approved a joint SEC Ripple motion to hold appeal in I don't know how to say that word, temporarily pausing the case for 60 days. As part of the order, the SEC is expected to file a status report by June the 15th. So that is the deadline for that. The SEC case against Ripple and its executive filed in December of 2020. I'm not going to spend too much time on this news because there is a lot more exciting news. But this is just bringing to your attention that the 60 days, we're about 20 days into it. The beginning of June will be the end of that. But any day now, we can hear that final end to that case, the final negotiations, and that will be another piece of good news. What do we have here? We've got price predictions. We're going to be looking at that later on in the show. And we've got the ETF news. So let me see if we've got any more Ripple news before we move on to that. Let me bring you back to the comments and let me make sure there is no more news I have before we move on to the more exciting news. Let's see. Yes, I want to find one more piece of news. Let me see where it's gone. We're just finding one more piece of news before we go on to the big news as well. Let's see what the comments are. So I'm still down on XRP. I bought at $3. I bought at 30 cents. I do think it'll go back above $3, but I wouldn't be as comfortable holding Ripple as XRP as at $3. But again, long-term holding. If you believe in XRP's technology, if you believe Ripple are going to continue to innovate and bring use cases to XRP, then I believe we'll go much higher than $3. The other bit of news I wanted to bring to you, which we've already covered, but it all plays into the same thing. Let me bring you this. Is the acquisition of Hidden Road for 1.25 billion, one of the biggest acquisitions in the crypto space. Is this covering it? Let's see. Let's see if we've got any interviews on XRP. Here we go. Let's see what the interview is saying. Let's tune in.
And in between the wild ecosystem of crypto and your own accounts. And Hidden Road, it has a pretty good pedigree. Mark Ash used to work for Steve Cohen at SEC Capital and Point72. So a pretty fascinating deal. And to me, one of the really interesting elements of it is Ripple really seems to want to use this deal to broaden adoption of their own stablecoin. They're going to encourage the use of their stablecoin on Hidden Road as collateral and whatnot. So a lot of the stories in crypto these days sort of circle back to that stablecoin idea.
It's like an on-ramp, off-ramp for the hedge fund industry and a lot of...
So the Hidden Road news, I'm not going to just keep skipping over it. This is such a big deal. One of the biggest acquisitions in the crypto space. It shows how unaffected Ripple is from this SEC case. It shows how confident they are they're going to get a good deal out the end of it. And most importantly, it's real life use case. We've got XRP and RLUSD working in tandem to do what Ripple was designed to do. This is not Bitcoin. This is not how Bitcoin was made for cross-border payments or peer-to-peer payment system. That Bitcoin can't do that. It's too expensive. That's what it was made for. And now we've made up a use case for it. XRP was created for cross-border payments. It was created to be more efficient. It was created to help banks. It was created to help cross-border payments and be fast and have a lot of utility and for it to grow. And that's exactly what it's done. And this is another example of why it's so good to have Ripple backing XRP. Because they are using that use case, and what they're doing now is acquiring brokerages, and this is a very large brokerage that worked in the past that clears trillions of dollars a year. And obviously all of that's not going to come onto the XRP ledger, but over time, a large proportion of that will. And that is that itself, another $3 trillion on XRP's market cap. You're looking at $100 or $50, whatever the calculation is. We're looking at nearly $100 market cap. I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. I think that will take time. I think that will require a few more acquisitions. That require large hedge funds to also start using it, other brokerages to start using it. But you can really see the use case of XRP. And I want to be clear, there's a lot of people watching right now, and I'm sure a lot of people watch channels that say $1,000 XRP tomorrow. You see fake tweets. Here, I'm telling you the truth. Martyn is the owner of the channel, and I've partnered with him. And the only thing we do is tell the truth. We don't want to overhype something. We don't want to give you fake news. We're here to provide the most honest news. And I could turn around and say $1,000 XRP in my title or whatever, and we get a lot more views. Take XRP, take crypto sponsorships. We don't do any of that. I'm here to give you the truth. And the truth about this news, it is really good, but it doesn't mean $1,000 XRP. We are looking at a deal like this to be one remembered in history, one we can look back at when we're at $100 XRP and say this was the beginning. So Hidden Road founder Mark Ash will continue to lead the firm under Ripple's umbrella, assuming control of the prime brokerage division. Prime brokers play a critical role in capital markets, offering services like custody, trading and lending to hedge funds, asset managers, and large investment firms. These operations require deep liquidity and robust capital support. Ripple has committed to injecting billions of dollars into Hidden Road post-acquisition to rapidly scale its capabilities, meeting surging demand. It's not just about scale, it's also about project synergy. Hidden Road will incorporate RLUSD stablecoin as collateral within its brokerage system and exploring deploying to Ledger to streamline settlement processes. Remember, RLUSD's point is to be used as collateral. XRP is going to be doing the heavy lifting. And once the word gets out, once people get more comfortable using it, they will tell their next rich friend, the next hedge fund manager, the next brokerage, and then they'll see the benefits of using XRP. And that's how it will spread. It won't happen overnight, but it is really accelerating at this point. These integrations are intended to accelerate adoption of XRP's core technologies with high-value institutional pipelines. Remember, they are a software company. They are providing a solution to the problem using XRP's technology, and that's why XRP is so great. The more the technology is used, the higher the price of XRP is going to go, and the fees will still remain very much under 1 cent. The deal unfolds amid a more favorable US regulatory climate for digital assets. Let's continue reading, and then we'll get on to the ETF news, because that is probably one of the biggest pieces of news that we're going to be covering today. But this is also one of the biggest pieces of news for Ripple and XRP that's already occurred. But let's continue with this. The recent shift in federal policy, amplified by the former President Donald Trump's vocal support for government adoption of Bitcoin, and obviously current president, has encouraged major players like Fidelity, BNY Mellon, and even GameStop to increase their crypto exposure. As a result, infrastructure providers like Hidden Road are becoming increasingly pivotal. Founded in 2018, hedge fund veteran Mark Ash, Hidden Road grown rapidly in digital assets and foreign exchange sectors, processing over $3 trillion in transfers in 2024 alone. And imagine that's going to grow. That's going to start being onboarded onto the XRP Ledger. XRP is going to take hold of some of those cross-border payments and payment solutions. RLUSD is going to be used as collateral, and $3 trillion is not a small number. And that's what's so great about XRP. It's not like Bitcoin, where you use it as a store of value, everyone buys in and holds it like gold. It's people want to use XRP, not because they just want to store their value in it, but because they will put their money onto XRP Ledger to do these cross-border payments. So the idea of market cap really goes out the window here, because once you're processing, imagine this is $3 trillion, and in 5 years' time, they've got another 5 companies like this, or another 5 massive institutions using XRP. You've suddenly got $20 trillion being passed in XRP payments. And if that's happening at once, you're looking at very large market cap. So $100 doesn't seem too unlikely, but something like $2,000, I won't get ahead of myself. I'm not saying anything like that is going to occur. Okay, so that is our Ripple news segment done. We are going to move on to one of the biggest pieces of news, the ETFs, and we're going to really dive into the ETF side of news. So let's flip on to the ETFs. Let's have a quick look at your comments, and then we might even make this ETF part into a video. But it's really big news, the acquisition. I can't get over it. A lot of people just think of it as another news item. This is the beginning of something very, very important. Yeah, it's not a spot, but ETF, we'll get onto it shortly, but it is still showing you what is possible, and it gives you a good idea of when that spot ETF comes out, what is going to... Is the XRP ETF true news? True. Yeah, it's definitely true. We'll get onto that very shortly. We've got 188 likes. We'll get onto the ETF news as soon as we hit 362 likes. No, 262 likes, sorry. 262 likes. Everyone, take a second to hit the like button. Let's put some music on. Takes a second and we'll get on to one of our biggest news stories of the day. 262 likes. If everyone takes a second, it will take no time at all. Let's change the music. Getting ready for the biggest news item of the day.
People are living together in seemingly perfect harmony until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Like 30 more likes and we'll get into it. Twenty more likes. Who hasn't liked the show yet?
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
12 likes. 262 is a random number. 5 more likes and we get on to ETF news. There it is. That was incredibly loud. I apologize. There it is. We hit the like goal, so let's get straight into it. Okay. We're going to turn it into a video as well for the people who are not watching live. If you're watching live, you get to see it being made straight away. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investors channel. We are looking at all the ETFs that are being launched. We're going to break it down. What does it mean for the price action? What's actually going on? What's being launched? And do we have a spot ETF yet? So thank you for watching this video. Let's get straight into the news. So we've got 3 different types of ETFs. We've got one, we've got an actual spot ETF being launched, and we've got 2 different leveraged ETFs. One that's already been launched, and now we've got some data we can process from that to give us an idea on the next one, and also on the spot ETF. And then we've also got another leverage and inverse leveraged ETF being launched in the US as well, and that's happening this week. So what do we have going on? So let's look at this story first. XRP price prediction as world's first ETF goes live. So we've got a price prediction here as well. The following launch of the first spot XRP ETF, that happened this week. That happened a couple of days ago, and that is in Brazil. So Brazil had its first spot XRP ETF. And what we've got going on now is we've got two AI models that are predicting asset class can surpass $5. So here's the Brazilian spot ETF. Brazil introduced the world's first spot ETF product, XRPH11. Let's see if we can see that on TradingView. XRPH11, XRPH11. There it is, XRP hash. Here we go. And that is on the day of launch. See, not much price action there. It's only been live for 1 day. Friday was its first trading day. Getting back to the news. Brazil introduced first, on the 25th, the country's main stock exchange, created by Hashdex and administered by Gentle Investmentos. I can't speak the language, so I will refrain from trying to pronounce that. After extensive pre-operational phase, Hashdex secured approval from Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission earlier this year. The launch of XRPH11 is expected to impact XRP's price trajectory in 2025. Generally, historically, spot ETFs have provided strong long-term support and cryptocurrencies by expanding access to institutional investors. Remember, once you're on the stock market, you've got a lot of different players that can start buying it up. And when you're looking at the price of XRP, let's go on to the actual price of XRP. You can see that we are ready to take off. Reasons being, we held $2, we came down to $1.75, we got that final liquidity grab, and what you're looking at now is trying to break out of the last piece of resistance I can really see in my eyes, around $2.30, before a couple additional pieces of resistance, maybe $2.70, $3, and then all-time highs. I am seeing a projection towards $10 by the end of the year. I am still looking forward to something like that potentially happening, and you can see it much clearer once you take the noise away. You've got a price action. You've got $2 being held. Everyone continuing to buy XRP at $2, not letting it go below. One flush out, one shakeout to get the weak hands out, to get rid of the leverage. And obviously there was market situations going on. Coming back very strongly back above $2, and you've got this downwards trending supply line, the trend line towards the downside, which you've finally broken out of. And there really isn't that many pieces of resistance up ahead. If you just take away all the noise, you can see that there are potentially a few areas, all-time highs, $3 being another one. But then the path to $10 is there. And with this ETF, spot ETFs that is launched in Brazil, not the biggest market, but there will still be institutions buying it there. But we've got two other ETFs that we want to have a look at as well. Let's just look at the AI price prediction as well. ChatGPT projects that XRP could reach $3.50 to $4.50 by the end of 2025. Under normal bullish conditions, in a stronger scenario with more countries launching ETFs and rising cryptocurrency demand, the asset could hit $6 to $8. So $6 to $8 is not too far from my predictions. I'll be taking a lot of profits around the $8, the $6 to $8 mark as well. However, the AI model noted that if macroeconomic conditions worsen or regulatory hurdles arise, the price could fall back into the range of $1.50 and $2. That is absolutely correct. Remember, if we get some terrible news, we've got recession, we get more tariffs, and those things don't clear up, then of course we can stay around these levels and head even lower. ChatGPT views $4 as a realistic target, nearly 80% above current levels. On the other hand, Grok AI offered a similar outlook with more detailed possibilities. In a bullish scenario, it could reach $8, driven by inflows into XRPH11, US ETF approvals, Ripple expanding partnerships, and Bitcoin surpassing $120. So that agrees with $8. Grok base case sees XRP at $4.50. That's the... So it is in line with what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm a touch more bullish. But yes, let's get on to the next one. So that was the Brazilian one, XRPH11 spot ETF. That is a proper spot ETF. You buy it, they're holding it at the underlying asset. And that's the world's first XRP spot ETF. So this is the first XRP ETF in the US. This already launched earlier in the month. This was XRP. We've got XRP. So 3 different ETFs. We've just covered the Brazil. A lot of people are getting confused. Brazilian one, we covered it. That launched on Friday. First trading day was last Friday. That is a spot ETF. They hold the underlying assets. That's the world's first spot ETF. What do we have here? We've got the first XRP ETF in the US. Is it a spot ETF? No. This is the one that's already been launched. Let's just have a listen into this before we go into more detail about what the spot ETF was. And then we actually do have a lot of data from this ETF, although it was launched a couple of weeks ago, and we do have a new ETF being launched this week. We'll get onto that next. We've got some data about the first one, which is interesting. So let's just watch this video. This is about XRP in general, a few bits of news, and then we'll look into the article and explore this ETF and the next one.
By over 100 million users worldwide. The chart of the day. XRP rising about 6% from 24-hour lows, or shedding the United States Tuesday, with Tucrium's 2x leveraged fund, ticker XXRP, on the NYSE Arca exchange. The ETF's debut precedes the approval of a standard spot XRP ETF, which is unusual for new asset classes. Tucrium's leveraged ETF arrives amid a flurry of applications for spot XRP ETFs still under SEC review from asset managers such as Bitwise, WisdomTree.
Let's just look at that list for a second. We don't have an XRP spot ETF in the US yet. Spoiler alert, and the one that's launching this week isn't a spot ETF. But we do have a lot of filings, and having these leveraged ETFs being launched is actually good news, because it does increase the likelihood of then seeing a spot ETF being launched. And we've got big names filing with the SEC to launch these ETFs. We've got Bitwise, we've got Canary Capital, 21 shares. We've got WisdomTree. These are big names. We've got ProShares, Grayscale, CoinShares, Volatility Shares, Franklin Templeton. Wow, it's got 1.5 trillion under management, that one, and I've never heard of it. Hashdex and Tecrium. So we've got big names, a lot under management, and they are filing for spot ETFs, and they're waiting, and their deadlines are coming up soon.
And Franklin Templeton. Tecrium warns of potential challenges due to XRP's price.
And this is the one we're talking about right now. This is XXRP. This has already launched. The reason I'm bringing it up again is because people are getting confused between the different types of ETFs that have been launched. But also, we've got more data about this ETF. This is the one that's already been trading. We can actually have a look at it. So let's just quickly have a look at how it's been acting. What was it? XRP? XXRP? Sorry, I've forgotten it. Oh, it's not against USD. But it's a crypto. XRP. Here we go. So this is what was already been trading, and since the day of the launch a couple weeks ago, we are up around 40 to 55%, around 50% up since the dev launch. This is a 2x daily long on XRP. So we do have some data now. We know about the inflows. We'll be getting into the inflows very shortly.
Volatility and declining usage on the Ripple network. Separately, Ripple agreed to acquire multi-asset prime brokerage firm Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, marking one of the largest M&A deals in the digital asset industry to date. CoinDesk reported that Hidden Road was in active takeover talks last week. I'm Christine Lee. For more crypto news headlines, head on over.
That just gave us a general idea of what's going on. Let's just read into the article, which is about this ETF that launched a couple of weeks ago. The first XRP ETF launched in the US Tuesday, a few weeks ago, with the 2x leveraged fund, ticker XXRP, on the New York Stock Exchange, amid a flurry of spot XRP ETFs that await the SEC review. CoinDesk, here we go. Let's continue. So what this one was, I've said it a few times. Moving on to the next one, which is the one that's coming out this week. This one that we just saw was the first one that was in the US, not a spot ETF, XRP 2X leveraged fund. And this is some data around that ETF. So Hashdex and Gentile Investimentos just launched the world's first XRP spot ETF. This is the Brazilian one. This happened on Friday. Listed under Nasdaq's XRP reference price index, the fund will have at least 95% of its assets directly in XRP, and is for advanced investors. So there might be restrictions depending on where you're trading this, and this is key for some people that say XRP is not being held. Well, in this case, they are holding some XRP as well. So that is good for institutional adoption. That this is a very much a spot ETF. This is the one that was launched in Brazil. They are very much holding 95% of anyone buying into that fund. So this Hashdex 9th ETF on B3 after BTC, Ethereum, Solana, custodial by Gentiles Bank XRP 11 for its sophisticated investors looking to add digital assets to their portfolios within Brazil's growing regulatory framework. Remember, this is why it's so great to have a spot ETF. We don't have one yet in the US, but we've got so many that are about to come live. There are investors, old investors or new investors or institutional investors that won't touch a crypto exchange. However, you put it on the stock market, you say it's a spot ETF, they will add it to their funds. It will be easier to add to different other ETFs. It will be easier to add to pension funds. It will be easier for institutions to buy them. So it is a massive deal having these spot ETFs. Right now we've got one in Brazil, but it gives us a little idea of what it can look like in the US. So minimum 95% XRP, targeting advanced and institutional investors. Brazil is not 0.9% of the global crypto ETP market, but XRP H11 puts Hashdex ahead of the curve. Will it get global attention? We will see. What this means for XRP in the market. It's come at a good time. XRP funds led crypto ETP inflows last week with 37 million, a big sign of institutional interest. JP Morgan predicted that crypto ETPs could see up to 8 billion in inflows, so there's a lot of upside. But risks are there. For XRP's price, a slow start could mean a short-term volatility. That's the price action. We can look at the chart ourselves. While Brazil leads US approval, is still a work in progress. Firms like Grayscale and Bitwise have filed XRP ETF applications, and the Polymarket prediction gives us a 74% chance of an approval in 2025. With the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, being pro-crypto, things might move even faster. Nate, ETF store president, thinks XRP approval is a no-brainer and expects big players like BlackRock and Fidelity to jump in. If approved, a US-listed XRP ETF could unlock institutional demand and supercharge XRP's long-term growth. XRP's price outlook bulls target $2.33 breakout. Remember, that's where we're sat currently, $2.30, and other people are looking at the same level, I assume, around $2.30. The breakout around $2.30. We are on breakout watch right now. This is a trade setup potentially that they're saying here. Breakout buy above $2.27. I would say $2.30. Targets $2.30 and $2.40. I will be targeting a bit higher. Stop loss below $2.16. I would put my stop loss below around $2.26 for the breakout. Okay, and here's the news of the XRP ETF. We haven't moved on to the one that's launching this week. We are still analyzing the previous two. XRP, the 2X ETF, that's the one that we looked at the chart here. Let's go back to here. Saw 5 million in volume on day one. Very respectable, is what senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg said. A 5 million in volume in day one. Remember, it doesn't sound like a lot, but into this, considering the market conditions, it launched at a very bad time. That puts it at approximately top 5% of ETF launches. Remember, this is just a leveraged ETF that institutional investors won't be too excited about, won't be looking at it, and it's already it's put it in its top 5% of all ETF launches, and that's about 4 times the amount that the Solana 2X got. But then here's the caveat: it is 200 times less than the IBIT inflows. Remember, Bitcoin's the one that everyone knows. Remember, that was a spot ETF. We're looking at top 5%. It's still very respectable, still very good. It gives me a good it makes me excited for the next leverage ETF and the next big spot ETF, which will be around the corner. Any day now, we can get an approval from the SEC for the spot ETF, but it's 4 times what the Solana one did. So you can see XRP is much more popular than Solana, and we can't compare it to the IBIT one because the IBIT one was a spot ETF. So there it is. That's the data. That's why I'm still bullish on these ETFs, because we saw how many people want to get invested with XRP and explore the crypto as an asset class. It was the top 5% of ETF launches. The trading volume puts it amongst the top ETF product introductions, one market analyst said. Let's move down into the story, and then we'll move on to the next ETF launching this week. Ethereum investor advisors 2x long daily XRP exchange traded fund XRP, the first leveraged XRP product in the US, racked up 5 million in trading volume on its Tuesday debut, becoming one of the company's most successful introductions and posting a top 5 performance for the new ETF. If you are enjoying this video please do hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Do consider becoming a member as well. Let's remove that. The ETF was designed to deliver twice the daily returns of XRP through swaps agreements with no suitable US listed spot XRP ETFs available. The swaps reference rates incorporated several European exchange traded products. The changes in US government and its pro-crypto stance have helped bring the ETF to market. The filing for the ETF took place right after the prior SEC administration excited, and as soon as the standard 75-day review period passed, TechRoom sees the earliest launch window. We filed as soon as we could after the old SEC regime left. We launched today. CEO Salk said on Tuesday. I think it's almost a couple 100,000 shares. This is brilliant, but let's move on to the next story of another ETF approval. Happened over the weekend, and what we've got here is the SEC has approved a public launch date of April 30th for ProShares Trust's XRP ETF. Is it a spot ETF? It is not a spot ETF. It is another leveraged ETF. And here it is. Future-based XRP ETF could launch next week. A future-based XRP ETF offered by ProShares could launch as early as next week. The permission's been granted for the 30th. That is a few days' time. We'll be covering that live as well. So the SEC cleared ProShares to launch Ultra XRP long and Ultra XRP short ETFs. So there's multiple here. As reported on by you today, ProShares revealed that it has picked April the 30th as its target date for the launch of their product earlier this month. The firm says it's likely to receive the green light to proceed with the launch on an affirmation date, given that there was no formal objection from the SEC during the review period. There wasn't. It is important to note such ETFs do not get the same stamp of approval from SECs as spot ETFs do. They only go into effect They only go into effect if the agency doesn't object with certain timings after the filing. The filing shows no imminent effectiveness upon filing was selected, with April 30th as the chosen date. So here's the news. It's not amazing news, but it shows you that the SEC, remember the way that these work, these futures ETFs, these leverage ones, they put in the request. They can launch it as long as the SEC has no objections within what was it, a 70-day time period? I think it is something like a 75-day review period. If the SEC just say no, which the previous SEC regime was, Gary Gensler, every time these came through, they would extend it, they would extend it, they would extend it. What these new providers have done, they've waited for the last commission, the last SEC I'd call it the last SEC, but it's the previous administration's SEC. Wait for them to leave. Day one, these people have filed it, and the SEC have had no objections, and here they are. They're all launching now, and we're seeing more and more of them, and we'll probably see a good few more before we see the spot ETF. It shows that the SEC aren't worried about these ETFs, and they are more happy with the process, so that these can launch sooner than they previously were. Remember, there was so many extensions on the previous when the previous administration's SEC was looking at these cases. Now there is no extensions, and they're being launched. So this is launching this week. It's a ProShares one. It is very good news. Let me quickly have a look at your comments before we wrap up the video. We saw some price predictions there as well. So these are the first ever ETFs. They mark a milestone for crypto adoption by offering regulated, easy, accessible XRP exposure. They limit legitimate. I can't say it. Legitimate. I apologize. They make it legitimate for XRP traditional investors and could spur fresh inflows. The launch of XRP coincided with a 40% surge in XRP's global trading volume, about 9 billion, reflecting increased market activity. On-chain data shows 6 million. Okay, we'll get onto on-chain data in our next video. So thank you all for tuning in. Please do hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are we going to get more of these launched? Are you excited for the spot ETF? I want to come in. I'm not going to pretend there's a spot ETF being launched. That was the Brazilian one. I do think we'll get one launched soon. We've seen some very bullish data with let's see if there's any questions. We've seen a lot of bullish data from that initial futures one launched. This one might be even bigger, and that shows us what's in store for when a spot ETF does get launched. And we've seen bullish news about the Brazilian spot ETF and how much was traded on its first day. So we're not going to overhype the news. We're going to put it out there because it's good to have an idea. I think when the spot ETF launches, that's when we're going to see the next leg up. But right now, it's becoming better known. Institutions are getting to get their hands on it, especially for the Brazilian ones. But when they really start buying, it's when the spot ETF launches. Let's see if there's any questions. XRP will make millionaires if you have 33,000 XRP and the value hits $30. Thank you very much for that. I just want to make enough to live in a van down by the lake. Captain, you might have enough to buy the lake as well. Right, okay, brilliant. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time. Take care of yourselves. Oh, there will be, if you want to watch the full, live stream, it will be here because we're covering a lot more as well. We're covering Ethereum versus XRP. We're covering a lot, so please do watch this live stream here, and there'll be another link for you down here. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. That was for a video that will be coming out later for the XRP ETFs. You got that news first. Let's have a look at your comments before we move on to our next news item, where I'll show you here. We're just covering the XRP ETFs. We're going to be going on to the supply. My favorite one is the XRP supply and the XRP Ethereum. There's some big news there that I want to share. It's about the flippening, and it's about the XRP holders. They're going out there, out of control. There are so many people buying into XRP now. Let's read some of your comments. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Not sure why I didn't read it out. Let me make sure that is on. See what happened there. For some reason it's not here. Thank you for your super chat. I'll make sure it reads it out in the next stream. Dash. We will do the requests at the end. Thank you, Ross. We'll look at Dash at the end. If you are still watching and you are an XRP fan, let me show you this as well. Let's get back onto the screen. Where is it? Don't have it. MartynLucasShop.com. Let me give you the link. We've got some very special XRP merch. We've got the XRP 11-ounce mug, XRP phone case, XRP jumper, the 15-ounce one, which is a bit bigger. We've got the latte mug as well in this size. We've got the XRP t-shirts and the XRP iPhone case. what you can do is go on to, for example, the jumper, and up here we are running a 40% promotion. You get the jumper, you get the mug, you can choose what type of mug you want, and you get the t-shirt, and you get it as a bundle. You can also do it this way. You can go on the XRP 11-ounce mug, and we've got a different 40% off bundle where you get the 3 mugs, the Lucasades Win mug, the Buying the Bit Dip mug, the XRP mug, and you get them 40% off as a bundle as well. Or you can just go in and choose one of your favorite items and purchase it that way. So that's the link for the 3 mugs. Let's give you the link for the XRP bundle as well for the XRP fans. That's the link for the XRP 40% off bundle. Remember, we are doing our first merch event this upcoming week. Let us know once your merch arrives. Send a picture in. If it doesn't arrive in time, then just send me a message on Discord, and we can add you to that merch event. That'll be exclusive for merch holders only. If you spend a certain amount, you get 20% off, and then if you spend a bit more, you get another free XRP mug as well. So please do check out the shop and support us that way. If you do buy anything today, then we will also be, I can also do you any chart requests as well. So let's go back on to the main news. Let's have a look at your comments. Then we'll go into the XRP supply, XRP, Ethereum price predictions, and the big earnings. I've got a lot lined up here. XRP accounts hit record highs. We've got the XRP. We've got a lot. We've got some. I don't want to give away too much, but that's what we're moving on to next. Let's go into your comments, and then we'll get on to the rest of the XRP news for you today. No, thank you, Rostin, for the super chat. Yes, brilliant fight. I really enjoyed it. Yes, it was a very good fight last night. Every investor I know is just TCing into XRP when paper hands keep selling. That's what I'm doing. That's it for the shout out. No worries, Captain Crunch. Why is everyone saying thank you, Sensei? Oh, did you think I was ending the show? No, it was for the video. Did you think I was ending the show? Why is everyone saying thanks, Sensei? RPM, I meant 33,500 XRP at $30 makes you a millionaire is what Key is saying. Yes, we've covered all these comments. I'm bullish on this channel, says Danny. If you're bullish on the channel, then do consider becoming a member. Let me give the link to become a member. By 3 to 5 years, XRP could see $1,000 if global adoption kicks in and trillions of dollars have been. Yeah, I wouldn't say $1,000 is very. I wouldn't hold my breath for $1,000. Price target by 2025 is still the same, $10 to $50. Oh no, by 2025, we're in 2025. $10, $8, $8, $10, $12, something like that. Here we go, James. Check out the Martyn Lucas merchandise store. Martyn and Sensei limited edition mugs now available. 007 approved. Drink your tea in style. Order now. The perfect gift for the perfect cuppa. Amazing. Thank you, James. Let's move on with the news. How many likes do we have? Let's reset another goal before we move on. We've got 350 likes. We need to beat what Martyn got last week. I don't know what he got last week, but he... Do we see how many likes Martyn got last week? Let's see how many likes Martyn got last week. We need to beat him in something. We've got a lot of news to still cover, so do stay with us. I want to see how many likes Martyn got. This one. Why can't I see the likes? Let me change. Just checking how many likes Martyn got on his stream on my Sunday show last week. 958. We've got a lot of work to do. If everyone can just please hit that like button, maybe we'll get there. Please do hit that like button. Let's get to 400 in the next minute, and then we'll move on with the next story. We need to keep the energy levels up. We've got a lot to still cover. We've got a lot we're going to get into. Do hit the like button if you're still watching. We've done the XRP ETFs. Let's move on to some more exciting news, in my opinion. Let's get to 400 likes. We can do it.
Like a phoenix, you burst into fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst into fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from
We've got a lot of news to still cover. Thank you all for tuning in. Please do hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 400. We're going to be doing, let's give you a sneak peek. We're going to be looking at the, let me show you on the chart. XRP address counts hit record highs. We've got a few charts to share on that. We've got one of the most important piece of news I'm going to be sharing with you, which is, that's a sneak peek for you there. XRP has flipped Ethereum. We'll save that for in a few minutes time. We're going to be going into that news as well. We've got about 838 million. I'll be showing you that. It's not loading at the moment right now. We've got some predictions on XRP's price as well. So a lot more to cover. We'll be looking at the chart again. Looking ahead for the open as well. $30 more likes and we hit 400. I just realised, can we get more likes than viewers? We've got 383 people watching, 371 likes. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? There it is. We've done it. We can't possibly get any more likes. Thank you everyone for liking the show. Let's see a few more questions and then we'll move on to the next story. Is that Chris Eubanks Jr.? Sub, yes, Chris Bank Jr. It was so good, Sub. If you missed it, I would recommend watching it. Yeah, it's probably one of the best fights I've seen in a long, long time. Who are you? My name is Sensei. This is Martyn Lucas Investors channel. And you're tuned into the Sunday show where we cover XRP news, we cover crypto news, we cover stock news. Today is an XRP show. What's the XRP price prediction by the end of the year? Look, it's a prediction. Things can go away. It can be at $1, but I'm hoping for a $10 XRP. With market conditions how they are, $5 to $8, I would say is a sensible guess, and then on the higher end, about $8 to $12. Big show after this event, XRP versus gold, the story of XRP. Okay, yes, we'll be going straight to Martyn after this. So we've got about another 15-20 minutes, maybe half an hour of things to get through, maybe, but we'll go straight into that. Maybe probably 20 minutes. Why are you on this channel? Why am I on his channel? It's because I've partnered with Martyn and I'm getting interrogated by a non-member here. Sneaker, become a member and you will understand it all. I'm on his channel because I do a show on Sundays and I come on throughout the week as well. Do you think there might be a pullback before the pump? There's always a chance for a pullback. Right now, I don't see any major pullbacks occurring. But that's all news dependent. Okay, let's move on to our next story of the day. And we will probably turn this into a video as well. Let's make sure we've got it lined up. Just getting a few things lined up. Let's reload that. Wide market cap as well, because I want to show you the market cap as well. Here we go. We're going to cover our next Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investors Channel. The flippening has occurred, in my opinion, and I think technically speaking, we are right. We are going to be also looking at the XRP wallets. It is going out of control. We've had the ETF news. That's another one's launching this week. Now we've got addresses going out of control, and we've also got XRP being the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. What do I mean? Well, let's look into the data for that. If you are watching this, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my thoughts and opinions only, along with a lot of facts. So here we go. Let's get straight into it. XRP addresses count hit record highs as the new ETF debuts. What we've got here is the number of XRP addresses have hit an all-time high amid the recent turmoil in the crypto markets after the aftermath of President Trump's tariff war. Even as XRP is struggling to reclaim $2, we are back above $2. We are actually looking very bullish on the charts. We can have a look at the charts in a second. Addresses holding at least one token have hit record highs of 6.26 million, crypto analysts has said. Despite the recent volatility, XRP network is growing stronger, now reaching an all-time high. The accumulation suggests that traders are convinced of the potential value appreciation in XRP in the long run, even as the market remains extremely volatile. There is another piece of positive news for XRP community. The first ever XRP ETF debuts on April the 8th. That has already occurred. That was the Tech Room XXRP, the 2X XRP ETF. Let me show you what that is. That is this ETF that's been trading about 50% up. We do have a new ETF coming out next week. That's the ProShares 2X long, 2X short ETFs. And then we had our first ever spot ETF launch in Brazil on Friday. So ETFs left, right, and center. We're still waiting for the spot ETF in the US, but we can see that the regulatory process is looking much better. Here is the number of addresses. I mean, look at that chart. You don't need to look at the price action after, but just look at the recent adoption in the XRP Ledger and the XRP wallets. It is going absolutely parabolic. We've now got nearly 7 million wallets. Two weeks ago, you just saw what that article said. It was 6.26 million. That was on April the 9th. Today we're looking at nearly 7 million wallets holding holding some sort of XRP. That's 7 million people globally, or 7 million different wallets. So the adoption is going out of control. And what's that leading on to? It's leading to price predictions, left, right, and center. I'll show you these price predictions. It's leading to the price of XRP going up. You look at look at this chart here. You see the price of XRP breaking out, holding $2. Everyone buying in. You see it going on its next big leg up, in my opinion. And then you also see it flipping Ethereum. So here we've got CoinMarketCap. So on CoinMarketCap, it doesn't show that XRP is number 2, but it should. And it really should, because XRP has flipped Ethereum. What we've got going on here is Ethereum's fully diluted market cap of 217 billion. Remember, Ethereum doesn't have a Ethereum doesn't have a cap supply. It's continuously being mined, or more is being produced. However, XRP does. It has 100 billion. That is it. $100 billion tokens. That is it. That is the amount you can have. Here it says the circulating supply is 58 billion. That is wrong. In my opinion, that is completely and utterly wrong, because people don't understand what they are counting the XRP that Ripple holds in escrow that releases every month a little bit. They are not counting that as circulating supply. That is wrong. And I don't blame people for thinking that. I do blame exchanges like CoinMarketCap not reporting this correctly, though, because, and I'll give you the list of reasons, but essentially, Ripple didn't create XRP. XRP is a technology that was gifted to Ripple, so Ripple could use it. They hold it in escrow. It's out. It's the developers don't hold it. It is out. It is circulating. It was gifted to Ripple, and Ripple can do whatever they want with it. Tomorrow they can dump it, or next week they can sell half of it. It is circulating. It is out there. It's held by someone. It's just like me going and buying or someone gifting me 1 million Bitcoin, me holding it and saying I'm putting it in escrow and releasing some every day. It doesn't matter. It's not. It will be part of its circulating supply. It doesn't suddenly get reduced from its market cap because someone's gifted me 1 million Bitcoin and I've started storing it away. It would still be part of its market cap. So in the same instance, this should say circulating supply is 100 billion XRP. And what would that make it? That would make the market cap 227 billion. What's the market cap of Ethereum? 217 billion. So XRP is the second largest cryptocurrency out there. It has flipped Bitcoin. It is coming for it's flipped Ethereum. It's coming for Bitcoin. And XRP should have the number 2 spot. I know a lot of other people are saying that it should. CoinMarketCap needs to fix this issue, and they need to start reporting correctly, because XRP is the second biggest, largest cryptocurrency out there, and it has overtaken Ethereum. Here we go. ChatGPT agrees with me. It's calculated wrong on most sides. Why? Because XRP was fully created at launch. 100 billion XRP was minted instantly. There is no mining like Bitcoin or Ethereum. All XRP exists today. That's why it's so efficient. That's why it's not energy intensive, all that sort of stuff. Escrowed XRP is real supply. The Ripple locked 40 billion XRP in escrow accounts. Although it's locked, it still exists. It's not future supply. Circulating supply excludes escrowed XRP. CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, etc. only counts XRP that is unlocked and available. Escrowed XRP is temporarily inaccessible, but not destroyed or missing. Real market cap is much bigger. It's at 223 billion, not 120 billion. XRP is different from Bitcoin. Bitcoin still has millions of coins that must be mined over 100 years. XRP supply is fixed, no future inflation. So there we go. XRP is the second largest cryptocurrency. I just want to put it out there because that is formally flipped. That's formally flipped Ethereum, and it's now the second largest cryptocurrency. And no one's reporting on that, so I wanted to report on that for you. 838 million XRP in 24 hours, market recovery imminent. This is a story from today. XRP might see a spike in recovery momentum sooner than expected. After an incredible spike on-chain activity, XRP has once again shown serious market potential. Over 838 million XRP tokens were transferred between accounts in a single day, a significant increase in market usage. Similar surges have frequently preceded notable price movements in the past, leaving traders and investors to question whether the wider market recovery is near. The asset is clearly having a difficulty maintaining steady upward momentum. I don't agree with that. According to analysis of XRP's price chart, well, I don't agree in that. Analyst. XRP encounters significant resistance. We can look at the charts ourselves. The unexpected increase in transaction volume suggests that XRP ecosystem is becoming more active and popular. Increased network usage frequency indicates growing demand, which may result in more volatile prices. And if the momentum continues, a bullish breakout. There is, however, a crucial disclaimer. Even though transaction volume appears to be bullish, a price rally is not always guaranteed. No, it's not, but it shows the XRP ledger is being used more. More people are getting into XRP. As we just saw from that chart, we've got all-time highs for we've just got a massive surge in number of addresses holding more than one XRP. We've got the chart ready to break out there as well. We've got multiple ETFs being launched or have already launched. And we've got, do this as well. We've got some price predictions. How high can XRP go? XRP predicts 500. Experts predict 500% XRP price jump by 2028. And don't forget, we had that Hidden Road acquisition, which is bringing hundreds of thousands, millions, and billions, and even possibly trillions onto the XRP ecosystem. That is also going for XRP. The newest XRP price prediction from Standard Chartered puts the token at, this is a bank now giving predictions on XRP's price, at $12.50 in the next 3 years. XRP is going up today. rebounding from the 6-month lows, and experts, according to experts, XRP price will rise to $5.50 in 2025, $8 in 2026, and $10.40 in 2027. Here we go. This is Standard Chartered's prediction. Jeffrey Kendrick, Standard Chartered's global head of digital asset research, laid out a multi-year roadmap for XRP that's turning heads. In a recent report from this week, Kendrick projects, and here are the projections from a big bank. 2025, we're looking at a 20% move to the upside, $5.50. 2026, $8. 2027, $10.40. 2028, $12.50. 2029, a slight dip to $12.25, stabilizing at lofty levels. So it's predicting $12.50 within the next sort of 3 years. Kendrick optimism isn't blind hype. It's grounded in 3 pivotal drivers: regulatory clarity, cross-border payments, utility, and tokenization, and ETF approval. This is what we've been covering today, the news around this. Regulatory clarity. Ripple's legal saga with the US Securities and Exchange Commission took a massive turn in 2025 when the SEC dropped its appeal. This was expected after Trump's crypto-friendly administration took hold, Kendrick noted. A clearer regulatory path removes a long-standing overhang, boosting investor confidence. Cross-border payments utility. XRP's core strength lies in facilitating fast, low-cost international transactions. Kendrick compares its role to stablecoins, citing their 50% annual transaction volume. XRP's blockchain is a payment chain. Remember, that's what XRP was created to do, and that's what it's doing, unlike Bitcoin. And Ethereum's not really working with its high transaction fee, so XRP deserves that number 2 spot. He said, projecting similar adoption curves. Ripple partnership with institutions like Santander and SBI Holdings reinforce this edge. Tokenization and ETF potential. Ripple is diving into asset tokenization, including US Treasury bills, funds, and its stablecoin RLUSD. Kendrick also anticipates SEC approval for a spot XRP ETF by Q3 of 2025. That's coming up shortly, potentially unlocking $4 to $8 billion in inflows within the first year. This would legitimize XRP for institutional and retail investors. However, Kendrick acknowledges hurdles. XRP's developer ecosystem lags behind Ethereum's, and its low fee model may cap value capture. Still, he believes these outweigh XRP's real-world utility and market tailwinds. Why is XRP going up? The 5 main reasons why. Regulatory tailwinds, the SEC decision to pause its Ripple appeal, combined with the President Trump's pro-crypto policies, has shifted sentiment. Trump's proposed strategic crypto reserve, though initially excluding XRP, signals broader market support that could lift all boats. Remember, there is just so much good news. You just look left, right, and center. The chart looks good. The ETFs are being launched. The SEC is approving the ETFs. Spot ETFs in Brazil, coming to the US soon. You've got regulation on XRP's side. You've got crypto reserves. You've got institutions buying in. You've got massive acquisitions that are bringing you to more money onto the XRP Ledger. You've got institutional adoption here. Banks, citing some banks that are using on-demand liquidity. You've got the number of people owning XRP heading up. The number of wallets at all-time highs. There is just so much good news, and what will bring it down, in my opinion, is just market sentiment, or if Trump does new tariffs, and that's short-term things, in my opinion. So there's just so much good news out there for XRP at the moment. Let's continue. The ETF hype, and tokenization's another massive one. ETF hype, the US-based launch of leverage ETF in 2025, while not holding a spot product, sparked buzz. Bloomberg's Eric called it a sign that nature is healing for crypto. Bold predictions: a spot ETF approval could drive billions in inflows, mirroring Bitcoin's ETF fueled rally in 2024. That's what kicked off this bull run. Maybe Ripple will kick off the second leg. Maybe XRP will be next. Tokenization ambitions. Ripple's pushed into tokenized assets like Treasury bills and RLUSD positions XRP as a backbone for the next gen finance. Kendrick sees the XRP Ledger evolving into a tokenized chain, amplifying its utility but beyond payments. And market resilience. And here are some, no, I think we've got some AI predictions as well. for some more predictions somewhere. I think we looked at it earlier. Here we go. We've got some more predictions. Bullish case $8, bear case $4.50, and bearish case $4. Base case $4.50 and bearish case $2. So you've got the two main ones well above where we are sat right now. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to see the rest of the news that we covered today, which you can see down below, the XRP chart, Ripple News, Ripple ETFs, XRP supply, and the earnings, then there will be on my side here. Open it. Yeah, over here, there'll be that full live stream to go watch. There'll be something else over here for you to click on. Don't forget that we have XRP merch as well. That'll be linked in the description. There's 40% off right now. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Okay, that was another video. Let's go on to your comments. I just think the internet changed the world, and Ripple will change our financial systems. And yeah, I do believe that. I think Ripple will be a big part to play in changing the financial systems, and the financial payment systems, and a lot more. You've seen they want to do tokenization as well. That's going to be part of that as well. Got my Ethereum at 3,800. It's going up, but I believe I got out while it was going good. Yeah, Saab, congratulations to you. I didn't sell my Ethereum, and I do regret selling my Ethereum. I don't know why I had Ethereum. I wanted to put it into XRP, and then Ethereum collapsed 50%, and now XRP's gone up, and now you've got XRP as a number 2 cryptocurrency. Kendrick is behind the curve. He's still looking pretty silly when it hits $12.50 this year. Well, he's above the curve for a lot of people. Remember, he's one of the first banks to come out and put a prediction, and putting a prediction like that is a very bullish prediction from a bank. 5x for the bull run, just on sentiment, add the ETFs, then tokenization XRP will be climbing for 3 years straight. Yeah, it doesn't all happen overnight though. It will be the sentiment and the FOMO that pushes XRP's price up in that bull leg of the market. It won't be the fundamentals. The fundamentals over time will back up the price. But in the short term, price action, just like you saw in 2017, just like you saw in March on XRP's price, it was just FOMO and people trading it up. The underlying utility will keep it at these prices. It will keep the support at $2, for example, after a massive move up. Hi, Kent Paranormal is here. Evening, everyone. I have a lot of ETH too. I was expecting that one to do well also, unless I missed something regarding that. How late am I? I still hold Ethereum. It's still going to do well, I think, but I think XRP's technology is much better. Okay, we do have one review to do. Let's see. If you do want to do a $4.99 super chat, we can have a look at your charts as well, but the one we're going to be looking at is Dash. Let's see if there's anything else we have to cover. Go back to timestamps. We did the XRP supply. We moved on to the next two as well. We've got big earnings next to look at. Let's have a look at the big earnings, and then we'll move on to your requests and a Q&A before we hand it over to Martyn for his big show. Okay. Have a look. Not there. Let me have a look where this is. Here we go. So we've got a big week ahead. I realise you can't see that properly. Let me move it. There you go. Monday, we've got some corporate earnings. Nothing too special on Monday. Welltown, Waste Management, candles design. Tuesday, you got the consumer confidence, advanced trade balance, retail and wholesale inventories as well. You've got big earnings. You've got Coca-Cola, GM, Visa, Pfizer, Shopify, UPS, Starbucks. So what we're looking for is consumer health, retail demand, and logistics strength. On Wednesday, you've got the US Q1 GDP advanced estimate, the PCE inflation, ADP employment, and pending home sales. And then again, big earnings week, massive earnings week. This will really affect the stock market this week. You've got Microsoft earnings, Meta earnings, Qualcomm, and Caterpillar. On GDP growth, inflation trends, huge tech earnings. Yes. On Thursday, you've got initial jobless claims, ISM manufacturing PMI. And then here we go again. Apple, Amazon, McDonald's, MasterCard, and Eli Lilly. Manufacturing strength, big tech leadership as well. On Friday, we've got non-farm payroll, unemployment figures, and factory orders. This Martyn will be covering a lot of these economic events as well, and a lot of these earnings. So do make sure you're subscribed and you because these will have a big part to play in the markets as well. You've got ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, Berkshire Hathaway. It'll be interesting to see what they say about deploying their cash as well. So Friday, another big day as well. So do stay tuned on this channel because we'll be covering all of that as well. I think his prediction was pre the acquisition. Yes, Selt. Okay, let's have a look at some of your requests. If you want to do a request, you can do a super chat or buy some merch and let me know. If not, we've got a Dash, and then we'll be sending you over to next show. Dash. I think Martyn has a big show for you planned. I'm excited to see what he has to say. So the XRP fund will continue. Let's have a look. It's over here, isn't it? There's another show straight after this show as well, and probably around 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere. Dash, here we go. This is what we're looking at. Dash USD. It's not been performing very well, and it's not one I'd be holding long term. This was big back in the day, but not anymore, it seems. Yeah, this launched in 2014, massive run in 2018, much smaller run in 2021, and so far it's not been doing very well. Let's do our technical analysis on it anyway. Got support there, and then you've also got support here. That's at $19 and $14. Let's see what else we've got here. You've got the highs from 2024. I won't bother looking at the 2017 highs. You'll never be going back up there, in my opinion. We can have a look at the 21 highs, take it to the bear market lows, give you some other price predictions. You can label these as well in case you want to have a look at it another day as well. This is the 36 from 2021. I'll show you what these levels mean. I'm just labeling them now. These are the Fibonacci retracements. It will give you a good idea of levels that you might want to consider taking profits, or where traders would be taking profits. From 2021. This is the Fibonacci from the highs of 2021. I'm not going to take it from the 2017. Oh, I've done it wrong. Sorry. Doesn't matter. We won't label it this time. So we're looking at Dash. This was a request from, who was it? Forgetting the name. It was from Ross Jin has requested for us to look at this cryptocurrency asset, so we're looking at it and then we're going on to another big XRP show for you. So what I've done is I've taken the Fibonacci retracement tool from the highs of 2021, taken it to the lows of 2024. This will give us an idea of where we are looking for this to retrace to. So I don't think it's going to make the highs of 2021 because you can see from 2017, the highs were 70% lower. You can expect a similar sort of scenario to having a 70% lower high in this bull run. That will result in possibly $130. Let's see exactly what a 70% lower would look like. You have got a lot of diminishing returns on this particular asset class. Yeah, you're looking possibly at $127, maybe best case scenario. That coincides with the 236 on the Fibonacci level. You are currently at range lows, nearly at all-time lows, so for a long time as well. So it's not a terrible place to be buying this token. I don't think Dash does anything these days. However, it's been around for a long time, so I don't think it's going to go to zero either. If I was going to buy, I would be looking at $19. I would be looking again at $16 as well. Those would be my areas I'll be buying. What would I be doing now? I'll be holding. You could do a smaller Fibonacci from the 2024 highs if you want to get out any earlier. You've got $31 at a target for a trade. This is what a trade setup would look like on this. If you're looking more short term, you would have your stop loss around $12, for example. Really depends on your risk tolerance where your stop loss would be, but your take profits, traders would be looking at all these different levels. They're all different Fibonacci levels. There you go. So you could be possibly entering. Let me just sort this out and zoom in for you. Entering a position here, what would I be doing? I'd be laddering out my position, potentially selling some at $30, $39, $45, $50, 786, the deepest retrace $6, and then potentially $70. So I do see a trade setup potential for Dash. I don't think it's the worst looking coin right now out there. It is at a very low price, and I would consider buying Dash if I was trading or if I wanted a short-term gain. I just don't see any long-term potential in Dash, so I wouldn't be holding it for the long term. But it is at a level of support. It does have a few take profit areas much higher. You are looking at, let's look at percentage gains from this area, looking at a 40 to a 180% move to the upside. Best case scenario this year, you're looking at maybe $127 if it breaks past $70, but I don't think it'll go any higher than that, maybe ever again. So thank you for your suggestion. See if there's any other suggestions. If not, we'll be sending you to the next show. Let's see if that show is linked to this. I'm just having a look. Yeah, I don't think the next show is there. Let me have a look. Homepage of the channel. Yes, it is. It just hasn't been linked, so I'll make sure to link them together. I'm getting you ready for Martyn's show. He will be going live very shortly. I'll be sending you directly there. So if you stay where you are, you'll go there. He has the news of XRP and gold. There we go. See if there's any final comments, and then we'll send you over. Thank you all for tuning in today. What does everyone think of the? Should we go members only mode? Let's go members only mode for the end of the show. We'll go members only mode. If you have any final questions, if you can let me know Why has Christopher put a question mark? Christopher, what's the question? Can you let me know what you think of the new look of the show as well? And let me know what questions you have. Woohoo, thank you, Sensei. Captain Crunch, no worries at all. Thank you for being here. And you're a new member, so I hope you're enjoying this channel. Christopher Pennington, what is... There we go. Martyn's got the link. Here we go. We'll be going there shortly as well. Let's see. Can we take a look at XCN, please, Sensei? Is that what you asked, Christopher? Did I miss it? What was the question mark for? Because I don't see any of your previous comments. Christopher, I don't know why you put... Can you explain what the question mark's for? Have I missed something? I didn't see any of your questions. Thanks, as always, great content insight, Sensei. No worries at all. How does Dogecoin look? Let's have a look, William. I'm just waiting to see what Christopher meant by the question mark. Dogecoin. Yeah, it's that support. 16 cents, 30 we can go on its next leg up. It came and tested its moving averages. 34 cents next would be my guess on Dogecoin, as long as the markets are looking good. Andrew Michael, no worries. Any more questions from the members? And if not, we'll send you over. You might see me more this week as well. We'll see. I might do some extra streams for you guys. Let's see if there's any other questions or comments. Apologies, my question didn't send, but the later question mark did. I asked if we can look at XCN chart. Oh, yes, let's do it. XCN chart, and then we'll end the show. We looked at this on another exchange, maybe. Yeah, it's back at this sort of level here. I wouldn't be buying it at these levels. We looked at it at lower levels. It looked like a buy. If I really like the token, which it's performed very well, I would have sold up here. Anyway, it's more of a hold. If you like the token, if you've been buying, it was more of a hold. There is plenty of room down it can go. That's nearly about a 50% drop, 40% drop. I wouldn't feel safe holding it at these levels. You're sort of just at resistance. And then the other bearish thing is you've got two lower highs straight after each other, so it doesn't look like you're holding. It doesn't look like you're trying to make new highs. So if I've got it, I might be holding in case that this support does hold. If I'm not in, I would be looking to buy in at lower levels. Again, not financial advice, just how I feel and how I'm looking at the technical analysis from my experience. Yeah, I don't see it being too bullish at the moment. I wouldn't be buying. I'd be holding. I'd be buying at 1 cent. I'd be selling. The next level I'd be selling is potentially 2.5 cents, or taking Fibonacci. Yeah, 0.28, 0.028, and 0.04. Those would be my targets. Hold, and buy. XLM will bang. Yes, XLM will go up as well with XRP, in my opinion. Thanks for the update regarding XRP. Great stuff as usual. Thank you very much for tuning in. Also, given XLM and XRP provide similar utility and both have been in multi-cycle consolidation, do you see XLM potentially outperforming XRP in terms of potential? Yeah, possibly. It's got a much lower market cap and not normally follows XRP. I think at certain points it'll outperform XRP, but not over the long term. Anyway, thank you all. Why am I getting blocked? Saab, I don't think you're getting blocked. I haven't seen you getting blocked. Do I see cat ears forming on X for hours? Oh, you asked for Stella. Sorry, Saab, I didn't see it. That's our final request of the day. We'll look at XLM and then we'll go straight to Martyn's stream. There we go. We're coming up to that moving average and the level of resistance. So it's time for XLM to start breaking out and getting back into some more sensible levels. Again, it's not a buy at this level. Back above 30 cents will be good for XLM. Just like XRP's level is $2.30, XLM's level is 30 cents. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. I'm not buying at these levels, but once it gets back above 34 cents, that's when it'll start getting exciting for XLM. Nothing to report yet. You've just got some quite major resistance just ahead of you around 30 cents for XLM. That will be the breakout point for XLM. 30 cents. Keep an eye on that. Thank you all for tuning in. Will this become a utility run into the bull run? Maybe it will. Or maybe it should. Always look forward to the Sunday show. Thanks, Sensei. Thank you all for tuning in. If no one's a member, I'll give you the membership link one more time. Sean Martyn's show would be a members only show. Until next time, stay where you are. There's going to be a live stream. Martyn doing a special live stream for you tonight. The link is also tagged right above here. So you can go here and you can join Martyn on the XRP versus gold show. Did we miss futures? Are futures opening? Or did futures open in 6 minutes? Let's see. Nasdaq. Did I miss futures? No, I think Martyn will cover that then on his stream. You'll be able to see the futures open as well on Martyn's stream. Thank you all. Until next time, take care of yourselves. There's the membership link for Martyn. On an iPhone, you have to do the browse. You have to click on it, go onto the Safari. It will then tell you to go onto a desktop version, and then you can do it that way. Thank you all. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.